You all why I'm broke. Y'all had me spending like I made your all kind of money when I was making booking money.
I'm sorry, but
I was making Francis money.
I'm sorry, but if $2,000 is all it takes for you to reach financial ruin, you're doing something wrong. You're making all kinds of choices. Maybe you too.
How about the 18 cents I finally got spent on that soda? You owe me 18 cents.
He's on your red car.
Yeah, that's Boogie in the red car, Mia. You like Boogie?
You're Boogie in the red car driving fire.
That's right. You drove past the fire station. When did you get so smart? Okay, we're getting some gas, and then we're going to Korean barbecue. God, I don't like it.
It's W-2 but 1099 season for businesses, and your employees and contractors are waiting.
This guy, dude.
Why are we having dinner with them?
I don't know. All right, Boogie. We are here at Korean barbecue. This is all you can eat.
Oh, I can eat?
Unfortunately.
Oh, you can eat? I doubt it.
What does that say? What? You know you weigh more than I do.
Number one, no, I don't.
Your left kneecap weighs more than I do.
Number two, I got a smaller stomach.
Okay, well, you don't use it like one.
All right, so you take this one, it's kind of like a pencil, and then this one, this is where all the action is. There you go. Yeah, very good.
First of all,
Your father is
welcome
so
to the game. My name is
Very
John.
nice.
Pleased to be out
Do what?
for
And a
PGA
purple
Play
rain.
with you. We are just about ready to go. Just 3 holes today in this matchmaking stroke play affair. Let's do this.
All right, Boogie. You're in charge.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. Just a little off on that approach. All right, let's see what he does on this one.
Oh, God. Dude, he cooked it for 10 minutes. Did you just burn your palate?
Yes. It's been I thought it would. Excuse me, I'm leaning over you.
Oh, Boogie.
Bridget, don't like facilitate that. Boogie's very jealous, feeble man. Feeble?
I will flip this table on you right now. It's bolted to the wall.
This putt is insanely long. I kind of feel bad for the guy, really.
I mean, all right, here we go. Now hold. Dude, what animal is this? A cow?
That will do it.
I don't know what part of the cow this is. I think we accidentally got the tumor.
And this will save your par.
You need to watch that too because you got baby teeth still. So you need
This putt's going.
to be very careful.
And we're keeping it even here. Even par after the first hole.
I put on this shirt before I left. Okay, it was spotless. You see how filthy I am now?
So filthy.
Look at this conversation gets dirty. Oh, look at your shirt. What's wrong with it? Your kids remind me, well, I don't like kids. When are you dating one? What's wrong? Are you mad at me? Yes. Why? Is our friendship over?
No, mine.
What do I got to do here? What are you doing? Cleaning my
Give
face.
this
Oh
a
my
rip.
God. Bill's such a romantic, isn't he? Real quick. Do you mind if I take a second to talk to your girlfriend in private? What about? What do you mean, what about?
No. Desi, come on, let's go.
Hold on. No, I want to talk to you. I want to talk to her real
What
quick.
about,
Let's
Mike?
make this a
I don't
short
trust
stay
you.
at the beach.
I just want to talk to her.
Don't let him get in your head, okay?
Okay.
Because he'll
You
try.
do know I've got a girlfriend and I'm happy and we're committed and all that, right? Okay.
That's not what I'm worried about. I'm more worried about you trying to
Ooh,
say
this one's not
that
looking
bad
too
shit
great.
about me, Mike.
Okay. Boogie's a terrible person.
All
There, I
right,
got
this
it out
is
of the
your
way.
4th shot.
5 minutes.
I need more than 5 minutes.
No. 5.5.
5.5 is perfect. That's all I need.
I'll
5.
set a timer. I'm seriously setting a timer.
Are you sure you're going to set a
And we're
timer?
back to the fairway.
Let me talk to her, please. Okay, so we haven't really got to talk in private yet because Boogie won't leave your side. He's like cancer or something. He's
Look at their file.
Okay, so I gotta ask the questions that the internet is wanting to know answers to. Okay, number one, are you happy?
He's got
Very
some
happy.
distance to
You're happy with Boogie?
What's gonna happen?
Okay, I feel like I can sense like a lie. Okay, does he have handcuffs to a radiator at his house?
No?
Are you free to go?
Yeah.
I just
Seeing him.
Okay, on the green
Everything.
side.
He's just the nicest person to me. I love him. I love his girls. I love everything about him. He's just so buggy. So.
what? But it's been 40 seconds. Okay. All right. Are you happy?
I'm very happy.
You're happy with Boogie? Seriously? No joke?
Seriously, no joke.
Okay. I saw your ID, so I know. Okay. All right. This dude's backing up the same time as us.
What a freaking.
7-footer here.
God. Oh, God, dude. This is how they drive in Arkansas. I guess it's easier to get a license there because there's nothing but horse buggies in Arkansas.
There we go.
They love you.
Love you.
I love you, baby.
Oh, I love you.
Setting up for the birdie putt
Okay,
here.
it's your turn. Drive.
Nice little putt. Okay, 2 over par at the moment.
Maybe you're the problem. Maybe I am.
Let's see what you got.
You're
for
not
this
the
team.
problem, Michael.
Look, I don't have a lot of friendship. Nobody talks to me anymore. I don't have any friends anymore. Maybe, but you lost just as many friends as I.
What are you doing?
Putting in my herpes medication, having outbreak.
What? Ew.
Unlucky.
What are you filming?
Ew. Oh God. Okay, I don't have time for this. Have you been seeing him on Twitter?
What? What about Twitter?
Boogie. Boogie's tweeting you.
You can't say that, dude. I thought he died or something. Okay?
No.
Boogie has to say. I'm not his friend anymore.
Well
I don't need to
done.
know
Back
anything
into
about
the
Boogie.
fairway.
I
Michael.
don't care.
He's in
He's
town.
trying
He's
to
coming
get out
to our
of this
house.
deep.
I am at a
Let's see how
Checkers
this goes.
in a little town called Somerville,
They've
South
gone
Carolina.
with the 7
Not too
iron.
far from where another YouTuber is. I was supposed to be filming in my
This one's
hometown
in third.
of St. Paul today. We've come here instead.
Ridiculous.
Bring this ridiculous.
You need to seriously stop before I flip out, dude, okay? Do you remember the last time I saw Boogie? He broke into my room, and he was, I don't know what he was doing.
I
okay?
know, it was very
We
weird.
had kids here.
This is his
I will
third
bust a
shot.
cat.
Please stop. I probably want to steal stuff.
Hey, what's up, dude? I just saw your tweets. I responded to you telling you do not come here, but I want to tell you with my voice. We have no trespassing signs. You are not welcome to this house, and if you do, you will be met with resistance. Bridget, did you not watch the videos in Houston?
Yeah, I watched them.
Okay,
Yeah, he
the
broke
putt
into my
drops,
room.
and
The
that's
guy
a
is
free.
out of his mind. I don't want him near our family.
You flushed his
All right,
medicine.
they
What
finished out
accident?
for their round.
Oh,
Okay,
my God.
head
What, is
our
he
separate
here?
ways.
Yes,
It'll be
dude.
two
I need to
after
clean.
This one's done.
Right. Dude, you knew he was coming.
That I
I don't know if it was
Fun out
close.
there.
Oh, my God. Bro, he's going to fall down the stairs. He's gonna...
We'll see you next time.
Does
What?
he see us? Go away, Boogie! Dude, this is on you, bro.
I didn't do anything.
Okay, dude, you're opening my door, bro.
Hi, Boogie.
Mike's good to see you. Stop. Bridget, hey, look. Boogie, what do you want? Why are you at my house? Why are you showing up on my front
I
door?
was in Greenville. It's only 3.5 hours away, and I just thought I'd come see you.
Boogie, of all people, to show up on somebody's house, you should know that that is not something that you
I
do.
thought about it, we talked about it. Listen, man, number one, you need to do something about your address. I found that on Instagram. You have any idea how easy it is to
What
find
do
your address?
you want, Boogie? Is there something you need?
I need to talk.
Okay, you gotta go, dude.
No, let's talk. It ended badly in Houston,
What do?
and I
Talk to him.
Well, you broke into my room. You basically told me we weren't friends anymore, and you never wanted to see
No,
me
I
again.
said pause button, Mike. I said when you hit pause, it's now time to resume.
Well, here's the thing.
Mike.
Whenever somebody tells me they want to pause the friendship with me, I'm not into pause.
Mike. We've been friends for like a decade, dude.
Well,
Okay?
that's a very
sometimes we're
loose-
hot, sometimes
you're using
hot,
the
then
term
you're cold,
when
you're last, then
very
you're
loose.
no, you're in, and you're out. Like, things are different this time.
The first time we hung out together was in like, what is it, Los Angeles?
Yeah, that was a good time.
You were jealous that I was friends with Jesse, and so you tried to compete because you kept trying to
That's fine.
I kept trying to do what? What are you saying?
That's
What did I
fine.
do?
That's fine.
What did Michael do?
Tell me, what did I do, Boogie? You kept trying to push me out of it. That's not true. You took tea in Los Angeles, and during your trip, you were like,
Mike, that's okay. Los Angeles, what else?
I don't know, Boogie.
You were in my Mike, it's gonna be different this time. It'll be different this time, Mike, and you know why?
Why is that, Boogie?
I'm medicated. No thanks to you. I am regulated and medicated. I'll be fine.
Okay, that was an accident. Okay, I accidentally knocked your pillow in the sink, okay?
A very unfortunate accident. Mike, listen. Mike, listen. I really want to come in, Mike.
I really don't want to invite you into my house.
Look, Mike, I really want to come in.
Oh, God, you're too toxic, Boogie. I don't like, want to hang out with you.
Mike, listen. Whether you like it or not, man, we're friends. We've been friends for nearly a decade, okay? I need a friend right now. Do you understand that? I need a friend. Let me in. You need to let me in, Mike.
How about this, okay? Because today's not going to happen. We're not on good terms. It ended sketchy last time. Things were like, you're doing all kinds of weird like stuff on the internet.
Mike, I'm not leaving here until you let me in.
Bro, just come back tomorrow.
Mike, I'm not leaving.
Come back tomorrow. Come back tomorrow. I'm not leaving until you let me in.
Mike,
Oh my God.
I'm coming in. Mike, I had checkers on my way here, and I got road diarrhea, okay?
Oh my, what?
This is happening whether you like it or not. Either it happens on the porch or it happens in your house, okay? Your house is a real hole. You're not going to notice anyway. It doesn't matter. Can I use this one? I'm using this one. I like how you decorated it here. It's spooky.
You just want to talk about holes.
Dude, my kids are upstairs taking a nap, Boogie.
Well, okay, I hope I don't wake them up, Mike, but look, this is happening, okay? Whether you like it or not, you have thicker toilet paper than this.
What does that mean?
You got used to one. I thought you'd have the good toilet paper.
That's my favorite brand.
That's angel sauce. You invited this foul.
I didn't invite him.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
This, God. Oh. What? What are you talking about?
That's only like half a roll.
Oh my
Really?
God.
You don't want to talk about it, do you?
Here, dude. That work?
Thank you, man. Thank you.
The whole house smells like crap now, dude.
Yeah, I know. It's stank.
You want another courtesy flush?
Boogie, just get the hell out of my house.
Take your
Mike,
leave.
listen. You really want me to wipe it, trust me.
Yeah, I told you I didn't want him here. This is why.
Oh, I didn't invite him. It's not my fault.
I want you out too.
I want you out.
What is swamp gas?
You get road diarrhea. I know you get road diarrhea.
No, because I don't eat when I'm on the road.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Oh my God, you eat more than I did.
I
Jesus Christ, I need you. I was worried you were gonna die. Get help, Mike.
No, hold on. He's
That's
lying.
me.
Dude, a turkey sandwich rolls under the car at Bucky's. This mother hated to go under the car and get it for him so he can eat it.
Dude,
That happened.
we went to Killen's Barbecue, and you know what you ordered? One of everything. You just said yes.
Yeah, and you can like consumed half of it.
I mean, here's the thing, like, I've been on the road for 5 days now. I just needed a break somewhere. You and I really started being friends right after my divorce. And my divorce was when I went a little loopy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so for that, it was not that loopy.
Look, I'm not in the 4th grade. You don't gotta talk to me.
Okay, I don't mean to talk it down to you, Michael. I
Condescending.
use big words? Oh, condescending. That's a big word.
Boogie needs to leave my house.
Waste your kids' food, Mike. That's real good. That's real good.
I even crushed. Is there something you needed before you get the house?
Yes, Mike. I thought we could hang out a little bit.
I'm in South Carolina, dude. When am I ever going to be in South Carolina again?
Bridget, turn it off, please.
I'm not filming.
Please do not film this, Brandon.
I'm definitely not.
This is personal
Yeah,
stuff.
I would never do that to
The
you.
internet saw enough last time, Mike, because you filmed literally everything. I figure in the
How am I not
privacy
you
of your own
sneaking
home.
into? You filmed yourself breaking into my hotel room. Oh,
That was really
so
funny.
you
That was like
got
some classic.
Why'd they call me Boogie?
Oh my God!
Ew! For
That
real?
was some
I want that
angry
film.
grandpa stuff.
I want that film.
I'm not filming.
Maybe I am, Boogie.
You're not the problem, Michael.
Look, I know a lot of friendship. Nobody talks to me anymore. I don't have any friends anymore. Maybe it is me. But you've lost just as many friends as I have.
No, you met Chad, Jake, Rob. Okay, I just got a new girlfriend. You think I'm getting a new girlfriend?
I'm in South Carolina. Yeah, what am I ever going to be in South Carolina?
Oh, will we? I'm definitely not. Yeah, I would never do that.
The internet saw it last night, like you filmed literally everything. I figured out how you filmed your stuff, right? I filmed
I'm not filming. You're not filming.
Friend, when I'm the
You
asshole,
don't have a girlfriend.
I do.
You don't have a girlfriend.
I will introduce you later. She really does not want to meet you, but I'll try to get her to talk to you.
Oh, let me ask you, Lily. Does she come in the form of a Lena the Plug flashlight?
First came here, I actually was really nervous.
That's 14-year-old Danny, who came from an extremely neglectful home.
Daniel Larson's story is very sad and very disturbing at the same time. He's someone who has severe autism and comes from a very troubled home. You see him go from a happy kid ready to start a new life to 9 years later and being a complete sociopath. This is the story of Daniel Larson. Daniel's story starts when he was a very young child, who was sadly abused by his parents, mostly his mother, from his early years. That then led to him living with his grandma, and while he was living with her, he actually found out that he was on the spectrum and had a serious bipolar disorder. He lived with his grandma until about July of 2019, when she sadly passed away. After this, kind of during this, Daniel started his TikTok in 2019 early 2020. He didn't really blow up until 2020, but supposedly he started in 2019. He did amass a small following of about 1,000-ish people, and that put a delusion inside of Daniel's head, and this is kind of where one of his delusions started. He got the delusion that he was famous now, and that he had fans, people that loved him, and he needed to do whatever he had to do for his fans. And to this day, he still has that mindset of that he's famous, he doesn't need to give up, and he can pretty much just do whatever he wants in life. Fall of 2019, a little bit after Daniel's grandma passed away, he would go to live with a caretaker for about 8 months, and this caretaker went on to say that this was the worst 8 months of his life. He went on to say that Daniel had many employment opportunities, therapy opportunities, aid programs, everything at his disposal for Daniel, and Daniel would not take any of it. He refused to take his medication, and the reason why he refused the employment opportunities and everything is because he had in his mindset that he was going to be famous, and he was going to be a singer, a writer, an actor. He had that in his head. Daniel also did about $5,000 of damages to this man's house while he was there for the 8 months. Daniel was a very violent person. Most people with bipolar disorder are, but having bipolar disorder along with being on the spectrum, that is not a good combination. That leads to a lot of violence, and not to mention he has a traumatized past with violence in it. You could just imagine how bad that house situation was with Daniel in there. The caregiver actually did an interview through Reddit and Discord, so that's where I'm getting most of this information off of. I'll play some clips for you guys, of course. But he actually went on to mention that him and Daniel would get into constant fights, even leading him to have a massive
Even conspiracies.
You mean something that's completely like
Cher hired 4 men to forcibly remove Elijah from a New York hotel in November of 2022. Some said it was an intervention, others said it was kidnapping, but Cher was never charged with anything, and she denies that even happened.
Newly revealed court documents have accused Cher of employing 4 men to forcefully remove her son Elijah Blue Allman.
There were pictures taken of her son when he was kidnapped.
Sometimes people are done with you.
You saying that your mother didn't check at school?
Yeah, it was very hard for my mother to accept.
She's claiming that he'd been missing, maybe even dangerously strung out on drugs, and she said if the court didn't give her immediate control of Elijah's life and finances, he would probably end up dead.
Breaking news that Cher's home in Malibu with Ventura County Sheriff's Department arrested a man at the singer's mansion this afternoon.
The suspect, 23-year-old Donovan Ruiz, reportedly lives at Cher's home.
What did it feel like to be so
I mean, we can talk about tunnels all we want, and non-believers will say, where's the proof? But there are many children down there. Do you have an idea of the number of children that we're talking about?
So it doesn't feel like anything.
Oh, okay, so
I mean, Cher, and I've always been Cher since I was this big.
Cher thinks she might be, rescuing her son, but if someone else is named as a conservator, then they get all the say on Elijah Blue's life. Cher will be off to the side, and I'm not sure she realizes that.
Welcome to PGA Investigates, a show I just created and might never do again. We are in a little bit of a different set today. Don't worry, we will be back to the regularly scheduled set in the next video. So without further ado, in last week's video, we did talk a little bit about Hollywood's biggest bully, Perez Hilton. Make sure to check that one out if you missed it. In today's episode, I wanted to highlight a little bit more of a current and relevant event, and that is what's going on with Cher and this whole trying to put her son into a conservatorship situation. Now, I have covered this issue extensively on my other channel, That Surprise Witness TV, and I'm recording from the That Surprise Witness TV studios today. But if you want to get down into the granular details, I do suggest you go over there and follow that channel, because I am doing live streams over there all the time about Cher and this conservatorship. But what I wanted to talk about in today's video on this channel is a kind of TLDR, sort of what you really need to know about what's going on in the case. So let's get right into it. In the early 1970s, Cher was dating now openly gay music mogul David Geffen.
I was madly in love. He called me the next day and said, I fell in love. I'm in love with Cher.
When she, quote, tore his heart out by leaving him for a southern rock and roll star by the name of Greg Allman of the famous Allman Brothers Band.
My next guest is a very special member of the rock music scene. For the past 2 years, he was voted #1 in the All-Star Rock and Jazz poll. You know, he's got enough gold records to open up a chain of banks. He's also the lead singer in the great Allman Brothers Band. He's a guitarist, a composer, and he's really terrific. He's also a very good friend of mine, Mr. Greg Allman.
People love to bring up that you were married to Cher. Are you tired of hearing about that?
Actually, she was married to me. And I am, yes, I'm tired of the question.
Cher and Greg's relationship didn't really last too long either.
Married to Cher. There was good parts to these things, and then there was bad parts, and it took a lot of growing up real fast.
I want to ask you that about Cher. You didn't hear a lot about Greg Allman for a while. Then all of a sudden he married Cher, and boom, you guys were in every magazine in the country.
Well, to tell you the truth, I didn't even think about that. One day she said to me after we had realized that the two of us had fallen in love, she said, this could get you in some real trouble, and that, the press is going to be all over you. And I thought, no, of course not. I mean, love's really blind, that's for sure. And all of a sudden, I couldn't make a move. I couldn't go out in the front lawn and wash my car without people being over the gate. And I thought, this is ridiculous.
But they did get married and have a kid named Elijah Blue Allman before going their separate ways. Elijah Blue was born on July 10, 1976, and he had a rough childhood by basically all accounts. He was sent off to a boarding school when he was like 7 years old, and he's reported feeling resentful about that in later years in his life.
You absolutely need unconditional parental love in those dark hours. That was lacking from that direction, I think my sibling Chaz said it best when you have a family that one person is at the head of that pyramid, and that the family, you know, is there to kind of serve the needs of that person. It's very difficult being one of the other people, you know, even one of the principal people. I would say sometimes a lot of the complications come from, you know, that idea. And so I thought that that was very, you know, erudite when Chaz said that in Chaz's documentary.
He met some friends at the Hyde School in Bath, Maine, who he would go on to start a band with.
You want to be great, you need to sacrifice.
Sam Spade, what a tough guy you once were.
Private schools, those bastions of upper middle class America where parents who can afford it send their sons and daughters to get away from everyday problems, are now plagued by the same everyday problems that plague the public schools. But there is one private school, tuition $15,000 a year, that seems to have a solution. It's the Hyde School in Bath, Maine, where 145 students get a different kind of education. Most of these youngsters have had problems ranging from drugs, alcohol or food abuse, to more severe behavioral problems. Joe Gauld founded the Hyde School in 1966. His dream was to have a school where troubled youngsters could come for help.
The question is, can they look at themselves? Do they really want help, and are they willing to put something in to get it?
And we've talked a lot in this class about how in order to really come to grips with yourself now, you need to come to grips with parts of your past.
Like, I had a certificate from my grandparents' house, and it kind of burned down, and it was my fault. And, but the same day, I met a girl, and I didn't want to stay at the motel with my family. I wanted to go out and hang out with this girl, and it's unbelievable that I didn't recognize, like, my own selfishness.
My parents, like, and I came to agreement that the character thing has to be put on the back burner for now, and I have to go for my grades.
You don't put one aside to work on the other, ever.
Grades are a result of character. You put your character back on the back burner, then your grades are going to go right down in the ashtray, you know?
For example, Brother's Keeper at Hyde School. A kid, if you go out and you smoke, I'm one of your classmates, and I see you, I'm going to get you to turn yourself in.
So, I'm a kid at the Hyde School. Yeah. I'm smoking. You're going to come to me and say, turn myself in?
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to say, buzz off.
Not here you go.
Do you ever feel like you're snitching on your friends?
No, I mean,
I think when everyone first comes here, they do. I mean, I just thought narc. I'm not going to narc. Yeah, no way. And the longer you're here, the more you realize if I respect this person and I love this person, then I want them to go after their best. And I know that if it's someone with an eating disorder, if they're abusing food, then they're not going after the best. I'm going to hold them to that.
The band is called Dead Z, and it's still up and running today.
It's a rare, candid, and exclusive glimpse of one of Hollywood's very own royal families. Only Extra was there to capture this tender, private moment between Cher and her only son, Elijah Blue. The legendary superstar made a surprise appearance backstage at Hollywood's famed Roxy nightclub. And the usually camera-shy Cher couldn't hide her motherly pride as she opened up to Extra
on this show.
I'm real excited about it. I'm very proud of all of them. They've worked hard. I support this band 100%.
Elijah has also stated that his mother, Cher, was a cold and standoffish person as a mother, and never really felt nurtured by her in any way. In a 2014 interview, Elijah admitted that he began experimenting with substances at the age of 11, which led him to a years-long substance issues battle.
It's actually shocking to think about myself, like at 11 years old, like buying drugs in Harlem.
But he was able to successfully stop this usage in 2008, at least for some time. And Elijah seemed to have had basically no childhood at all whatsoever before Cher decided to put him to work, literally performing, in my opinion, what appears to be child labor, but I mean, I don't know, innocent until proven guilty. For example, like I said earlier, Elijah was born July 1976, and by December 1976, which is like literally the same year, just a few months later, he's 4 months old, he's already got put to work. Here's him and Cher, Christmas special she was doing, and look, here he is, star of the show. In this type of using children for PR and putting them to work very early was not a brand new thing for Cher. She also had done this to her other child, Chaz Bono. Chaz grew up the same way, basically as a cast member on Cher's various television shows.
Chosen the pitching wedge.
People everywhere are recommending GoodRx.
My neighbor showed me the
that one's goodbye.
Got me saving my kid's allergy bill.
GoodRx can save you a lot of money. Americans everywhere
set up here around 140 to the pin.
Save up to 80%.
And baby Elijah would also accompany her to movie premieres, televised interviews. I mean, the baby picks her up. Just take a scroll through Getty Images if you don't believe me. But by the time Elijah would have turned 2 years old, Cher and Elijah's dad, Greg, were already on the outs, and Cher was on a concert tour going all over the place, all around everywhere. And not only did she bring Chaz on the tour with her, but she also brought Elijah, who, like I said, wasn't even 2 years old whenever she decided to bring him out there. So from what I've been able to find, it definitely looks like Chaz and Elijah had pretty much no childhood, and they were put to work very early on. They were exposed to a lot of things from the industry, behind the scenes, and everything else, and that's just how it was. Then by the time Elijah was like 13, 14 years old, he was still in Cher's band, and he was playing guitar in her band. And it's very interesting to me because 1989, he's on tour with Cher, playing the guitar in her band at bars and God knows what else. And by the next year, in August 1990, we get announcements in the newspaper that Elijah is going to be going to the Hyde School, a preparatory school that is very exclusive in the middle of nowhere in Maine. It's very difficult to get into the school. It's very expensive to attend the school, and you have to be like a certain type of person to even be accepted for admission. Specifically, the school is for troubled teens. So Cher might want you to believe that Elijah just has all these issues and all these problems independent from her, but it is very, very interesting to me that only 1 year after Cher brought this child onto her with her, something she had been doing since he was literally under 2 years old, then he finally ends up in this sort of like behavioral development high school program. And to me, in my opinion, it kind of looks like Cher is a primary reason he ended up there at all. He said the first time he was experimenting with drugs was when he was 11 years old, but he was living with Cher at that time. So now in 2023, she want to act like, oh, he's on drugs, let me take over his life. But baby, you were the one that exposed him to that lifestyle in the very first place. And you might be wondering, why did Cher choose the Hyde School over any other school? Well, remember those clips from the school that you just looked at, them 60 Minutes clips? According to newspaper reports, Cher simply just saw the 60 Minutes episode and decided that she wanted to send her child there. Which, according to that same article, a lot of parents had the same idea. There was a huge spike in interest whenever that special came out. And it just made it obvious to me that they've been using 60 Minutes to kind of shill these unconventional programs and drugs and medications since literally at least the 1980s. And if you missed our Ozempic video on my other channel, do make sure to go check that out because we get into it a little bit there. Elijah's relationship with his father was also strained because his dad, Greg, admittedly struggled with alcohol and substance use and abuse issues throughout his life. These issues caused him to be pretty much absent from Elijah's life in his formative years. Unfortunately for Elijah, he would go on to develop highly publicized substance and alcohol issues himself, which further strained his relationship with both parents.
I was lucky to have a lot of those men, you know, who were you know, my mom's boyfriends, from Kilmer to Tom Cruise. I was lucky to have them in my life because my dad wasn't around. How old were you when Val Kilmer gave you a scalp?
Well, he was around when I was about 6, so that was probably, was he Batman 6, 81, 83? So you were the Batman here? No.
In 2013, Elijah married a woman by the name of Mary Angela King, a fellow musician and performing artist who goes by the stage name Queenie King.
I'm searching for the peace.
Wind is blowing right to left on this hole.
Brought up in this called Yoshi, the Children of God. And, you know, it was very, well, music wasn't allowed. We weren't cultured. We weren't really allowed to watch movies. You know, we had a list of, like,
hopefully this sticks to the fairway.
3 weeks and we'll be in England.
Let's see what this guy does.
What do you think England don't like me? I don't really know Sharon's mother-in-law because I've seen her
You had good times with that.
Mostly we had good times.
together.
let's see if he can deal with this fairway bunker.
She's a very complicated, interesting person, and yeah, hopefully many more good memories.
Yeah. A lot of other stuff happened in the meantime, but for now, let's fast forward to November 2021, when Elijah filed for divorce from Mary Angela. The filings in that divorce give a lot of information, including allegations by the wife, Mary Angela, that Cher had hired a group of goons to kidnap Elijah on their wedding anniversary at a New York City hotel in 2022. Some other allegations that, for example, the wife made in these divorce filings were that Cher was holding the wife's expensive property hostage, including these 4 paintings that are apparently worth a lot of money, and Cher won't give Mary Angela the deed, that Elijah would quite literally go missing for months on end, and that the wife didn't really believe Elijah was even actually involved in the divorce papers.
This is his third shot.
So they never really got around to divorcing for those reasons. Well, late last year, the global tabloid media had a field day, actually many field days in a row, over Cher's filing for a conservatorship over this son, Elijah, who is now 47 years old. And the reporting in these stories placed a lot of emphasis on the fact that Cher was supposedly, allegedly so worried about her son's life that she had to pursue a conservatorship to both protect her son who was struggling with alleged mental health and substance abuse issues. And shoot, even the 2022 Mother of the Year nominee, April Margera, weighed in support of Cher's attempt at usurping Elijah's rights, something April had done to her own son just a year prior. And honestly, to be completely fair, wanting to protect your child is all fine and good, if that was what was really going on. But Cher did not apply for a conservatorship of the person or of Elijah's personal choices. Actually, Cher stated she didn't even know where Elijah was and did not bother to locate him before trying to get this conservatorship. No. She only wanted a financial conservatorship. She actually didn't even apply for the right type of conservatorship. She filed for a very severe form of conservatorship that completely strips the victim of their rights to manage the money and property that's rightfully theirs. So I went and looked up the court documents myself, and I tried to see what I could piece together in this twisted, convoluted tale that, in all honesty, is giving me nostalgia vibes and not in a good way. So these initial conservatorship filings revealed some important details about Elijah, his whereabouts, and about Cher's potential motivation for this legal strategy. For example, the conservatorship application revealed that Elijah was, quote, due to receive distributions from a trust fund that his father had left behind for him. And these public documents informed the public that the trustee of the trust, who happened to be Greg Allman's longtime manager, that's the guy who did, this trustee was literally holding the funds hostage from their rightful owner, which is Elijah. According to the conservatorship filings, the trustee was required to give Elijah his money by December 31st, 2023. And Cher had filed for conservatorship just like 4 days before that, December 27, 2023. And it kind of looked like Cher had finagled this timeline to be short on purpose, because another thing that she had asked the court for in the conservatorship request was to waive her legally required responsibility to give Elijah and his wife proper notice of filings. Meaning she wanted to get a conservatorship over her 47-year-old son without so much as giving him proper legal notice that she was trying to do that. But at the same time as these court...
Congratulations, you have wound up the winner of this 3-hole challenge. And with that, I say goodbye. See you next time.
For one, Elijah withdrew his 2021 divorce petition, which stated that he no longer wanted to get divorced from his wife. Second, Elijah apparently somehow managed to hire maybe 2 more conservatorship hearings, one for a temporary conservatorship. That same exact very day that these stories are run, Elijah shows up to court with his wife, who he's no longer figure out a way to finagle this trust fund money out of Elijah's hands. I am hoping that they are unsuccessful in doing that, because it is clear to me and anyone with eyes that it does not need to happen. It seems to me like it's probably, in my opinion, a little bit more
You cannot almost imagine the scale of this place through the AI deep learning model that we've developed with Dell Technologies.
I don't know why I did the things I did. I don't know why I said the things I said. Cries I could not control deep inside. Words are like weapons, they wound sometimes. I didn't.
Cat Williams recently broke the internet after doing a wild interview with Shannon Sharp, where he took shots at some of the biggest people in comedy, including some of Joe Rogan's comic friends. The interview is almost 3 hours long and now has over 42 million views, and it's still climbing, which makes it compete with some of Joe Rogan's most watched episodes of all time in only 1 week, which is absolutely insane. And regardless of whether you like Cat Williams or not, I do think that he has earned a spot in comedy as one of the GOATs, and because of how much he knows about the business and how much work he has done, his comments definitely carry a lot of weight. And now he essentially gave some validation or credibility to something that a lot of us have thought in the past, which is that Joe Rogan has essentially created one of the biggest and most inflated comedy podcast bubble out there with his closest friends, also known as the Rogan Sphere. Now, keep in mind that Cat Williams did go easy on Joe Rogan, and it does make sense. I don't believe they have any personal beef between each other, and it's mostly just natural competition. But it is interesting how just one comment from Cat Williams is making the entire Rogan Sphere crumble. Because what's even more interesting is that we now have reactions or responses from comics like Brendan Schaub, Brian Callen, Theo Vaughn, and Andrew Schultz, which was pretty wild. So let's get started.
Comic View was everything. Comic View was really the break, and not Friday After Next, just because Comic View was just 3,000 of your stand-up peers, and we just throw sets of all of them up there, and we see who the audience likes. Who do they like? And it was a great wild, wild west time to be involved in comedy, and the same is true for Def Jam, because hip-hop was a fad at one time, and hip-hop ain't gonna last, and why are you doing that? And that's how it was for blue comedy. If you were a comedian that cussed, you were ridiculed by the mainstream comedy geist. That would be like me being on Joe Rogan. Joe don't want me on.
A personal attack against Joe Rogan, but it was a very aggressive thing to say. But do keep in mind that Cat Williams did say that he was very competitive, and it does make sense. I mean, they're both around the same age. They have a similar amount of comedy specials, and although, yeah, Rogan is not considered on the same level as Cat Williams when it comes to, comedy or being funny, I do think Rogan definitely deserves some credit, for everything that he has done. And he does have 10 comedy specials, which is just 2 less than Cat Williams. But it would make sense that at some point Cat Williams saw that Joe Rogan was giving a lot of interviews to his close friends, like the time that he went on the Fliggin' podcast, which got over 38 million views, or the time that he went on Theo's podcast and got over 18 million. And he probably wanted to do something similar, but compete with Joe Rogan and do it better. So because of that, instead of going to Joe Rogan's podcast and giving him that massive interview, he instead chose somebody that he probably liked a little bit more or felt more comfortable with. And plus, he knew that it was going to be a career-changing interview. Now, even though he did not mention who he thought the 6 comics were that Rogan pushed without being funny, we can only speculate, but I think the first few are pretty easy to guess. If I had to guess, the first guess would be without a doubt Brendan Schaub, then probably Bert Kreischer, Brian Callen maybe, Tom Segura now, potentially Andrew Schultz, and then the other 2 can be either Ari Shaffir or maybe Theo Vaughn. Obviously, all speculation, but you let me know which ones you think he was probably thinking about.
I'm hoping you guys watched the Cat Williams stuff.
Yes.
On the Shannon Sharp?
Yeah. That podcast has 33 million views.
Yeah. I watched it like a day ago. It was at 20.
33 million views.
And Cat went bad on Rogan. He was saying how he just has unfunny comedians on that he pushes, he never have one.
Wow!
No, read the Rogan one.
Joe don't want me on a show. Joe got 6 millions that never been funny. He want to push out. Cute. I'm funny. He's one of my favorite comics, and I'd love to have him on, Joe said. We talk about him all the time. If he's down, I'll make it happen.
People are DMing me, Joe. He's talking about you. You've been on there more times than anyone.
See what we got here.
I'm not on there for comedy relief. I'm there for my fight science. There's no.
But I'll tell
he's
you
not talking about me.
I saw Cat Williams at the Comedy Store a couple times. He's a genius.
Oh, Cat is here's the thing. I want no heat. Hey, Cat, I'm with you.
No.
I'm with you.
He's as good.
Whoever's your enemy is my enemy.
When he's on.
Now, I haven't watched The Fighter and the Kid recently, but after watching that clip and hearing that come out of Brendan Schaub's mouth, made me feel like it was 2022 all over again. Obviously he didn't think it through because he's essentially coping by saying that he was never on Joe Rogan's podcast as comedy or as comic relief, and instead he was there as a fight expert, which is just absolutely delusional. I'm not saying that he was ever funny on there, but I think we can all agree that he was always promoting himself as a comic, promoting tour dates and all that stuff. And also, I think everybody would agree that Brendan Schaub is the person, the comic, that everyone would say Joe Rogan pushed the most without being the funniest or even that funny at all. Now, to be fair, I find it very unlikely that Cat Williams was actually thinking about Brendan Schaub and Brian Callen at that moment on that interview, but it definitely applies to them 100%. And I think by this point, every single Rogan Sphere comic has heard what Cat Williams said about Joe Rogan, but only Brendan and Callen have actually said something publicly. It wasn't the best response, but they addressed it. Because Tom Segura could also say something about it, but he can't because I think he's still probably releasing content that he shot back in December. So I wouldn't be surprised if Winemates releases a Christmas episode next week. However, when it comes to Andrew Schultz and Theo Vaughn, it was pretty insane because I was waiting all week to see what they both had to say about the situation, since they are some of the biggest comics to come out of the Rogan Sphere. And I was shocked to see that they just completely pretended that he didn't say that because they did talk about everything else. About Cat Williams, but just ignored that he said that Rogan has always pushed the same 6 comics that have never been funny, which is wild because they don't have to respond to Cat Williams in an aggressive way or call him out like that, but the fact that they're not even addressing that comment, it's pretty strange.
But yeah, so he just goes down phase on Love, P. Diddy, Martin Lawrence, not a single person sued him. It's all facts. It's all facts. Just even an earthquake, it's just a lot of, I don't know.
That is the thing. It's if you're a comedian, you can't sue when another comedian makes fun of you. You got to come back with jokes.
Yeah, I don't know. It's fascinating to see.
I do think the person that handled it best was Joe.
Joe killed it. He's like, we love you. We talk about you on the show all the time. I'd love to have you on the show. Because Cat was like, he doesn't want me on his show. Mm-hmm. And he could have been defensive.
About 14 feet
He's like,
to
I love you.
go.
I want to have you on the show.
Yeah, come on, baby.
And that would be...
He saw those numbers.
Amazing. I mean, low-key,
I'm sure he probably did beforehand,
yeah,
but after seeing that, who doesn't want Cat?
But he's always spoken highly of Cat. Like,
let's check in with this dark horse over here. Lemaire, what do you think about what Cat said? What does the black community think?
I think it's kind of like they kind of agree. Yeah, I think we're in the same. Yeah.
Right by.
It's definitely interesting to hear.
He's got about 7 feet to the cup from here.
I love Cat Williams. Dude, I saw Cat Williams, but he was all in the business, which is frowned upon. Cat came in. Sure, I agree. I agree.
And although Theo Vaughn also avoided the conversation and didn't address what Cat Williams said about Rogan, I don't think it's that bad since, Theo Vaughn isn't really into controversy like that. And when it comes to Shake Gillis, I definitely don't think that Cat Williams was referring to him as one of the unfunny comedians. However, when it comes to Andrew Schultz, him not talking about that whole thing was pretty insane. I mean, not bringing up Cryptosuit to Logan Paul back then, I guess is somewhat understandable, but this was unexpected because they didn't talk about it on Brilliant Idiots. They also danced around the subject, so I thought they were probably saving it for the Fliggin' podcast, but they didn't. They never brought it up, and it makes you think, what is going on with the podcast? Because I understand not wanting to take shots at Cat Williams, but I would assume that the topic of Joe Rogan pushing on funny comics would be a funny conversation. I mean, they could roast other people, other comics and stuff like that, but they actually pretended that it never happened and just ignored that comment because they talked about everything else except Cat Williams saying that Joe Rogan pushes the same 6 unfunny comedians, which is very interesting. And also, they're saying that Joe Rogan handled it the best way possible, but I mean, he just really answered with the most corporate cookie-cutter response ever. But I mean, at least Alex Media did call out the fact that, of course, Joe Rogan would want Cat Williams on the podcast now after seeing the insane numbers that the interview did. Now, even though there is a high chance that Andrew Schultz is one of the 6 comics that Cat Williams was talking about, to be fair to them, even in the current state that the podcast is in, which is pretty rough, I still think they have one of the best comedy podcasts at the moment. I mean, obviously, there are funnier shows going on, but in terms of how long they have been doing,
certainly say spectrum. There are things that you can say to get your point that don't have to hurt people. Right. But you would know that if what you did was construct the English language for a living, then you would understand.
Let's send it.
Oh my God, here we go.
The Kardashians have redefined the...
Now, obviously, he wasn't talking about Joe Rogan or his friends directly, but the next few things that he says actually do apply to them very, very well. For example, for a while, both Joe Rogan and Brendan Schaub would push the idea that they were being shadow banned or that there was such a thing as censorship in comedy because of the things that they were saying. Now, I'm not saying that that doesn't happen, but clearly when it comes to Brendan Schaub, I don't believe that is the case. And what Cat Williams was essentially saying is that if you are a true comic, an actual writer, then you will be immune to that type of stuff. And it does make sense. For example, recently we saw Matt Rife essentially getting mad that people were upset at one of his jokes. But keep in mind that it was his own audience, and the joke wasn't really taken out of context. It was just a bad joke. Because comics like Louis C.K. have said worse things, and they did it correctly. And once again, that's the difference between a comic like Louis C.K., Cat Williams, and Dave Chappelle, who they can all write, act, and they're very, very talented when it comes to being creative and coming up with original ideas. And then there are comics like Rogan, Bert Kreischer, Tom, and Andrew Schultz, who are still very, very funny people, and they're extremely talented, when it comes to public speaking. But then when it comes to coming up with new ideas and putting it on paper, it's a whole different game.
But I love the craft. And that's why when I got into the craft, I thought it was my obligation to make sure that I kept writing new material so much that it forced these comedians to stop doing the set they've been doing for 10 years and keep writing some new stuff. And I knew that if I could get that to take on, that most of these bums would have to just quit comedy because they can't keep up. They're not going to keep writing an hour worth of material. Right. I've written an hour worth of material 19 times.
Let's see what happens.
They're not going to do it. Why? Because they're not creative writers. They want to get somebody else to have them write it and put it together. So it doesn't allow the regular comic the ability to grow. is the real. Like, part of comedy is me taking these jokes in January and March. I've begun to craft this joke. It's not as simple as it was. When I wrote it, it was just da-da-da-da-da. But now it has the complexities of the fact that I'm having to deliver this to an East Coast audience, a down South audience, a Midwest audience, a Utah audience, a Colorado audience. And so it begins to take on a different complexion because you're having to deliver it to different people. And so this sharpens your joke. You then take those sharpened jokes that make it special, not you just randomly take some. So it's a process.
Now, hearing Cat Williams talk about how most comics are not creative writers is pretty interesting, especially since we recently covered Tom Segura's 69-minute comedy special, which was pretty bad. And we mentioned how if that was truly his best effort at making a TV episode, then he really has no business talking down on comedy writers or late-night TV shows or comedy shows like SNL. And also keep in mind that back then, a lot of comics like Andrew Schultz and even Tom Segura would talk about how comedy show writers were different and essentially how much they sucked compared to them, who can actually perform in front of a stage, talk to people, and
with writers, they're so prolific on the page, but when they try to communicate it, it's a different art form. It's like the ideas are there, they just don't understand like how to hold attention the same way.
Well, you know what it is? They're out of shape. It's like when I think it's a thing.
Like playing pickup
the more
basketball.
stand-up I do, the looser I get on stage.
Yeah, but it kind of shows that they care more about the marketing and fame instead of the art form. Because at some point, even Joe Rogan told Andrew Schultz to his face that the hardest part of the whole thing is writing, which is also what Cat Williams said, and it does make sense. I mean, if you have somebody that is really good at writing and coming up with jokes, you can definitely teach him how to perform in front of people. But if you have somebody that's a performer, I feel like it would be a lot harder to teach him how to be a good creative writer. And I think it's cool that Cat Williams is making people have these conversations again, because what happened in comedy for the past couple of years has been absolutely insane. Where people like Bert Kreischer, who I don't know if he writes that much, he had one of the biggest and most successful stand-up comedy tours last year. Now, obviously good for Bert Kreischer. I think he deserves everything that he has. I mean, it's basic supply and demand. But the question is, should there be a different label for a comedian like Bert Kreischer, or should it be the same word for a comic like Bert Kreischer and a comic like Louis C.K., Dave Chappelle, and Cat Williams?
When you got into stand-up, was crossing over, was doing TV, was doing movie, was that a part of it? You're like, okay, I'm doing stand-up. Okay, the next progression is TV,
He's
movie.
ready to let her rip here. Let's see what he does.
Plain chicken. Again, Kiki Palmer?
Wicked
Listen,
slice
Suze,
on that.
HelloFresh makes eating better exciting.
Splash.
Smells good, because it is good. How long were you in the fridge? A long, long time.
This is what our third shot's looking like.
Switch to Chrome to securely store your passwords.
And
So you can sign in with just a click. Fast,
and this is what your
safe,
fifth shot's looking like.
yours. Hit Chrome for Windows.
And this is right on the border. I'm not sure if it's going to be rough or fairway. Okay, this is your sixth shot on this one.
Throughout the history of stand-up, sir, that's the goal for all of us. That's how it goes. That's why when you hear these dudes talking about, oh, I didn't want to be a movie star, you just know it's disingenuous. Like, what are you talking about, dude? But you could be a winner. You could be a winner on this
got
thing.
around 245 yards to go.
It's just work ethic. And not the work ethic they talk about. They tell you work ethic where they do all these movies. I'm the hardest working man. No, everybody goes to work every day, man. Right. You say, I go to work all the time. Everybody who works goes to work every day. Shut up. Shut up. You get... What? You think I respect you more than my gardener?
Right,
I don't.
Shot.
He work every day. Rain or shine.
And also another thing that was heavily pushed by Joe Rogan was, having an insane work ethic when it comes to podcasting and comedy. Which is funny because I think that Brendan Schaub and Theo Vaughn are the perfect example of how that doesn't work in comedy. Keep in mind that Brendan Schaub at some point was the poster boy for, the hardest worker in the room, and it was working out for him. And Theo Von, on the other hand, according to Brendan Schaub and other people, isn't the hardest worker. I mean, Brendan Schaub would complain about Theo Von having a bad attitude in the morning, missing episodes. So clearly, when it comes to comedy, the hardest worker isn't necessarily the funniest person, especially with the Rogan Sphere comics, who they all have at least two podcasts each. They have side projects. They do stand-up every single day, and then they do other people's podcasts, which, you know, naturally makes you wonder, when do they have time to live life and come up with, you know, material or jokes? And also, Cat Williams talking about how every comedian wants to be a movie star at some point was very interesting, because I think that's true, but it was something that Joe Rogan was really against for a while. I mean, you would tell people like Brian Callen and other comics to not waste their time trying to be in Hollywood, when they could just have their own podcast and do their own thing. But it was very clear that a lot of comics wanted to be in Hollywood and they just couldn't, so they had the best excuse, which was, why would I want to waste my time in Hollywood when I can make a lot of money doing things online?
Great, and we're good. We're good. See, this is the thing with you. You're like, Hollywood doesn't care. And I'm like, we don't care. Me and my friends don't care. None of us want to walk into a writer's room with people that couldn't make it as stand-ups and hear that our jokes aren't funny enough. If you're a comedian, going online and building a fan base makes a hell of a lot more sense than playing this game here. As a comedian.
You don't want to act, or you just don't want to.
We all do, but it's not possible. It's not possible. Now, Joe Rogan was the one who kind of gave me this advice. Now I know you're saying, oh, he's not that successful. And that's, I get it.
Joe Rogan, here's what we have to...
He's not famous, he has no money.
But here's what we got to remember about Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan was famous from network television first.
But once again, I think it's very interesting how Cat Williams essentially doesn't agree with anything that Joe Rogan believes in, which I think would make for an interesting podcast between them. I don't know if that will ever happen, but when it comes to Joe Rogan's friends, the fact that they're not saying anything at all and they're just completely ignoring it, I think says a lot about them. Now, some people, including Brendan Schaub, were saying that Cat Williams was probably jealous and salty, and that's why he was calling people out, also to get some clout and views. But I don't think that was the case. I mean, Cat Williams is a wild person and has gotten in a lot of trouble in the past, like legal trouble. But everything that he said sounded reasonable. It wasn't like he just went on there and said the most insane, wild things to get people talking. But I could see how Cat Williams is not the easiest person to work with, and because of that, you know, he's not at the same level as somebody like Kevin Hart. Because in terms of business, I would assume Kevin Hart is extremely reliable, and even though he's almost worth $500 million according to the internet, he still shows up to all the media and does all the morning shows and all that stuff. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a great interview, and I'm glad that Shannon Sharp allowed Cat Williams to say whatever he wanted to say, because I do think that it sparked some healthy conversations around comedy and stuff like that, and it's, I mean, at the end of the day, it's entertainment. But yeah, what do you think? Should comics take shots at each other publicly, or should they fix things in private? Because they kind of started doing that last year. Some comedy podcasts were, you know, taking shots at Brendan Schaub and all that stuff, but nothing like what Cat Williams did. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Leave a like and subscribe to support the channel. Dislike it.
Okay, since you want to argue in bed, I figured I'd pull out the camera and film it a little bit.
Is everything a video to you?
You know, if you're
You're sick.
If you're gonna sit there and argue with me and talk crap for 20 minutes, I may as well make money off of it, okay? Yeah, how you feeling? How's your day going, Virgin?
Fantastic, Michael.
You trying to pretend for the camera?
A great day.
Yeah, tell the camera. Tell the camera what you said about my sister. What was it? You said that she is a bottom feeder, was it? You said that she's a loser, was it?
I said she was elite.
Okay, how is she elite? She came to, like, spend Christmas with
She's
you.
elite and you know it.
She's not elite. My sister is not elite, okay? That's number one. Like, what is wrong with you? You're just upset that she don't want to sit next to you at Japanese food? Like, get over it.
No, Michael, I'm pissed off that she's ruining Christmas. She's ruining my favorite holiday.
Well, you ruined Thanksgiving, so who cares?
Michael, why is she here?
Because I'm ruining your life. You ruined mine for how long? A month? I'm gonna ruin yours for twice as long, dude. Okay? You don't like him?
Neither do you!
You've never understood. I don't care.
Michael, this is gonna backfire bad.
Good. I hope it does. Bridget, let me explain this to you in stupid, okay? Because that seems to be the language you speak.
Oh, really?
I hope that it backfires.
My name is Drew Larson. I'm 23. I'm based out of Austin, Texas, and this is Financial Audit.
Former President Trump was not on the campaign trail today and
conducted this significant multi-nation operation in order to send a clear message to the Houthis that the kinds of attacks that they've been conducting since November 19th, 27 as of today, will not be tolerated. And so these strikes were specifically targeting facilities that were known to have radars, missiles, and UAV capabilities that have enabled the Houthis to conduct these strikes. So going forward, the intent here is to degrade and disrupt their ability to do this going ahead in the future. These strikes, again, were intended to be very surgical, very precise, and very deliberate to degrade and disrupt Houthi capability. As Secretary Austin has said tonight in his statement, we reserve the right to protect and defend our forces, to defend the global trade that transits through the Red Sea, and take necessary steps to, again, make sure that the Houthis understand loud and clear that it's unacceptable for the international community to continue to conduct these reckless, dangerous, and illegal attacks against commercial shipping and mariners that are transiting this vital waterway.
Work mishaps happen to the best of us, especially when we're just starting out and still learning the ropes. But what if your mistake ends up with you in handcuffs? Here are 5 cases when dumb people got arrested at their jobs. Number 5, cashier's hardware store heist. In movies, heists are meticulously plotted, often planned months or even years in advance. But the one we're about to share? Well, not so much.
It seems like Bernie. So it seems like Bernie Mac's daughter has spoke out in response to what Cat Williams had said in the Club Shay Shay podcast.
And in today's video, we're going to take a listen to what she had to say in response. Pretty much what Cat Williams was talking about the interview. But before I do that, I'm just going to play you an old clip of what Bernie Mac had said, wanting the comedians to not take other comedians' jokes. So I'm going to let you guys take a listen to that first, and then I'm going to play the clip of Cat Williams speaking about it. And then after that, we're going to listen to what Bernie Mac daughter had to say in response, and then we're going to close the video up. I don't waste no more time. If you guys don't mind dropping a like on the video, that would be highly appreciated. And feel free to subscribe to the channel. And also feel free to share this video out and comment you guys' opinions. And if you want to become a member today to support the channel, I'll link that down in the bottom of the description. But go ahead and take a listen. I'll come back to you guys.
I've been with her all the time. You know, she see my stuff, my new stuff, and all that kind of stuff. Especially when I do my single dates, and I'm trying to school her. You don't do your material around a lot of comedians. That's like standing in front of the police. You know they mean well, but they sit on the side. Ooh, that's funny. Next thing you know, you see it on HBO or something. You be sitting at home. That shit mine. You know, ain't nobody gonna believe you. First come, first serve. You know. So when you do new stuff, you never. I'm telling you, for you comics coming up, never bring your stuff out on a house full of comedians. But never work a lot. Especially established